My name is Kelly Yarbrough, and I'm the Director of Community Programming at Prairiewood Retreat and Preserve in Manhattan, Kansas. Normally, I'd be busy coordinating our public event series, like yoga, open trail days, and artist receptions. But it's a weird time. In-person public programming is out. But I can't help noticing that some things haven't changed. We still need sunshine and fresh air. We need connection to each other and to places that matter. The Places Between Us is part podcast, part walking tour. Conversations from a distance with artists, poets, educators, and changemakers as they take us on virtual walks through their own special places. Hey, Nick.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah. This will be fun because everyone I've talked to so far, I know to some degree I have some relationship with, but you, I don't know you at all. I don't know anything about you, hardly. I mean, the reason I reached out to you, I think, is mainly because I saw how active you were on some of these Flint Hills regional pages with really advocating for Kansas, for the native landscape. Do you want to just start out by introducing yourself and kind of where you're calling in from?
Yeah, so I'm Nick, Nick Abt. I moved out here from Florida in 2011, and I moved to Wichita. And yeah, at first it was culture shock, and I missed home a lot. But then, like, the more I started researching, I kept discovering amazing places in Kansas. And yeah, after that, I met my wife and just kind of fell in love and decided to stay. So that's the start of it. And ever since then, I built up a graphic design business, and that kind of segued into videography. And that's probably how a lot of people know me, is the videos. So I just got lucky being able to go out to a lot of these places because I worked for real estate and did weddings and stuff. So I got out to places in Kansas that I think a lot of people haven't seen before. So, and then that also just kind of helped inspire the love and the passion for me. So,
got it. So did you start doing the video work after you moved to Kansas?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I was already doing I was doing photography and some graphic design and stuff back home. But yeah, I came out here and I started working in a recording studio, and then he taught me videography to learn weddings and stuff. And then after that, yeah, it just took off. And I did a lot of my practicing out in the field, just going out to beautiful places like the Flint Hills and the Gypsum Hills. And I feel like I really kind of honed my chops out there.
Tell me a bit about the Gypsum Hills and what makes it special.
The Gypsum Hills are interesting because of that redness. When I first came out here, that was one of the first places I went. I had heard the legend of Flower Pot Mountain, and I was like, oh man, I got to check that out. So when I got down there, everyone was like, oh, there's nothing down there. It's flat, it's boring. And I get down there and it looks like Arizona or New Mexico. I spent some time in Arizona, like right after high school, for work. And yeah, that's kind of how it felt when I first got down there. And so, geologically, it's Permian era deposits. And so you've got that red iron rich soil it has that rust color. It's just so cool out there. I don't know. Yeah, I love it. And so this footage, is this actually on private land? Some of it's private, some of it's not. Like, I think some of the first footage was on the Gant Larson Ranch, which is also known as Gypsum Hills Trail Rides. And that place is cool because you can actually go there. It's 3,300 acres. And you can go there and hike and camp for $10 a day. There aren't really established trails, though I did find some really, really cool trails, like up along the hills and down through the canyons. And yeah, you can basically just explore however you want. And I think it's awesome. We've needed something like this in the Gypsum Hills. And apparently it existed all along, but we all just never knew about it because they were mainly focused on horseback riding. But now they're really trying to encourage hikers to get out there. I definitely want to help spread the word because it's just such a cool place. While I was there the first time, I saw all sorts of just cool animals and also like cactuses everywhere out there. It feels like a desert landscape, and it's so awesome that it's only like an hour and a half from Wichita. It's a total change of pace. The first trip, it was just my wife with like point and shoot cameras. And then the second trip, we had a little bit better gear because we were doing our own weddings at that point. And then I think the third trip, I finally had a drone, so we were able to actually go out to some of the places that we could see in the distance that we really wanted to explore. And then, yeah, from there, my buddy Joe Montiel, he has 34 state media, but he's kind of my go-to buddy for going down there. We've just been all over the place at this point.
And when did you start doing drone photography and videography?
In 2016, I originally got the drone because I thought it would be useful for weddings and real estate, and it certainly was. And yeah, then just more and more, I found myself just going to the drone when I would go out for these nature shoots because, man, you could just do so much more. I mean, all the shots that I could get on the ground, I can almost still get with the drone. A lot of the shots that I have gotten in my previous films, people probably thought were ground shots, were actually drone shots. But it's amazing to get that bird's eye view, and you can just explore so much faster.
And so have you had to kind of develop some relationships with private landowners to be able to go out with your drone?
Absolutely. Yeah, even just for Hell's Half Acre, it took like no, I think it was like 4 years to track that. It was actually a company in North Carolina. I finally tracked them down and got permission to go out there. But yeah, it's kind of hit or miss just being able to find the people sometimes because a lot of these are owned by like the one we're seeing right now. That's on an oil field or a gas field. So I had to fly in from the road. So it's kind of frustrating sometimes, but a lot of the times, like people will reach out after the fact and say, "Hey, I saw your video. I own that land. I would love for you to come back down." And I mean, legally, we're allowed to fly, pretty much anywhere. Landowners don't own the airspace above their land, but ethically, I think I kind of have a problem with just flying over it unless, I've tried every option and can't get in touch.
And when you talk to some of these landowners, what do you tell them that you're doing? What are you producing these videos for?
I mean, a lot of this stuff, I just tell them I'm super passionate about Kansas and I just love geology and I want to kind of show this stuff off. But, back when I was working on the first film, Exploration Kansas, that was specifically made for the classroom setting. I was hoping that I could share that with Kansas teachers and that they could use that as a learning tool. So, it was kind of easy for people to want, to let me go out to some of these places.
Exploration Kansas was the name of the film, right?
Yes, it is going to be in the No Coast Film Fest 2020 coming up here in October. So I'm really excited. Hopefully, I win in one of the three categories.
I'm interested in how you really fell in love with this place.
Everyone says Kansas is flat, but Florida is the flattest state. So I mean, this stuff to me, these are mountains. Like, I mean, it's just incredible to see over land this far. In Florida, it's like, you've got these tall pine trees if you're not right at the beach, and you can't ever see out over land. And look at this, like you can see to the horizon in all directions. I mean, like literally, like we're probably looking into Oklahoma out there in the distance. And there's just something that's fascinating to me about that. And it feels different out here. I love the big sky. I love the buttes and the canyons and the Wild West feel and all the Wild West history too. So this is Gant Larson Ranch right here. Like I'm driving through. That's what is it? Forest City Road pretty much cuts right through the ranch. So you have easy access. That's a pretty good road. A lot of the roads out there are really bad. And I don't recommend going out there like after a heavy rain, especially because I've been stuck on one of these roads before for like 4 hours trying to push it out. So
Wow.
definitely be careful. But it's nice to know that road's good. You've got the scenic byway that goes through. So you've got Highway 160 and it cuts through just some amazing stuff. There's really tall buttes, beautiful canyons. It's pretty awesome out there. And then also the Gypsum Hill Scenic Drive, a good part of that is paved. And that's kind of where you see a lot of those classic pictures of the Gypsum Hills. Mm-hmm. And then Sun City Road's paved as well. And there's some cool buttes out there. I just feel like there's history everywhere you go here. And one of the interesting things about Medicine Lodge, I was looking through like an old history book, and there was a Henry E. Abt that settled just 3 miles from where I'm showing right now up the river. And my dad's name is actually Henry E. Abt. So it's like I almost feel like I have like this weird spiritual connection to this place.
Wow, that's amazing. What are the odds?
Yeah, he had a son, Henry E. Abt the second, or Henry E. Abt Jr., my dad's actually Henry E. Abt II. So it's, yeah, it was totally weird.
Wow. Have you looked in to see if you actually have a family connection with those apps or?
Well, yeah, I talked to his daughter, Helen Abt, and then there were some other Apts down there too, and we are actually not related. And they're the only Apts I've ever met, like in the whole rest of the United States. I've been all over the states. I've never met another Apt except for Kansas.
Huh. Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
they're Swedish, and my last name's German, apparently. So,
Okay. Okay. So maybe in the old country you, you knew better. Do you have any projects in the docket right now? Anything that you're excited about that you're working on?
there's a couple different things. I mean, I definitely want to do Exploration Kansas episode 2, and it would pretty much feature the Flint Hills and the Chautauqua Hills this time. The northern cross timbers. So I think I have so much footage of the Flint Hills, and I'm just ready to unleash it. So that's one of them. I just need to really get my key interviews. I might use Rex again, and then I need to find some. You could probably help me find some great interviews for people who could explain different parts or different aspects of the Flint Hills.
I
But
probably
other
am. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I'm also working on. I want to do one for Kansas rivers because I feel like the rivers really tell the geologic story here in Kansas. Like the Smoky Hills River is one of my favorites, and it cuts through Badlands, and then you've got the limestone section, and then the sandstone, and it's or even like this area. This area wouldn't be striking if it wasn't for the Medicine River or the Salt Fork that cuts through in Comanche County. So I definitely want to do a Kansas Rivers um, film, and then there's one I kind of have like on the back burner just because it's a bigger project, but it's called Flyover State, and I just want to show really the most awesome locations in all the states that you would think to be boring, basically in the Midwest and on the Great Plains, like Nebraska, Oklahoma, and then of course Kansas, because there's so much to see out here, and I think people overlook it. As an East Coaster, or I was, now I'm definitely Kansan, but when I was an East Coaster, I had preconceived notions about Kansas, and I definitely thought that it was flat and boring and featureless. I moved out here for a job opportunity, kind of against my will, and then when I got here, like I said, I just completely fell in love, and I would be on Google Earth like all night, like just in awe that I was finding these amazing places. Once I was able to read the map, it just all started to fall into place, and I realized, man, there's so much more to this than people realize. And I hope that I'm not like, because Kansans are real protective of what they have, and they don't want everyone to come on in. So I hope I'm not out, overstepping by having like the website Scenic Kansas where I show where all the cool places are, or any of these films that I've done. But I'm just so passionate. I want to share it with everyone.
Yeah. Scenickansas.com is the website.
It's scenicks.weebly.com. Unfortunately, I haven't bought the rights to it yet, but I figured I've only got, I don't know, maybe a couple dozen of the counties done. So when I finish the whole thing, it'll be scenickansas.com.
Yeah.
But then the group on Facebook, we've got like 20,000 people now. And we all just kind of share pictures. And it's really nice because I tune out all the politics and all the bull crap. And I just love seeing everyone's photos.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the community that you built through that Facebook page. I mean, people are engaged.
Yeah. Originally, it was supposed to be for sharing maps, and then everyone just liked the picture sharing, so we kind of got into it. But now it's just so fun to see Kansas through everyone's eyes, and I think that's what's so special about it. And there's so many places I still personally have left to see, and I learn new things every day on there. So I'm glad for that community.
Well, this has been really fun, Nick. Thank you for making time.
Yeah, my pleasure. I really appreciate it. And Gant Larson Ranch, Gypsum Hills Trail Rides, you definitely got to get out there and hike. It's only $10 a day.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks so much, Nick.
All right. Have
Have
a
a good
great night.
evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.